My name is Caleb McNary. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm joined today by Knox McCoy. He generously was my first victim for my first ever Skype video interview. So thank you very much, Knox, for being here.
Glad to be here, man. Appreciate you asking me.
On my blog, I talk about the tension of being a Christian in the world, and most of the time we try to avoid that tension, but I kind of like to dig into a little bit. So tell me a little bit about what the tension is in your life, like around humor. Are you ever pressured to dig into more Christian topics, and kind of how do you approach that tension in your life?
Kind of when I was talking about how I first got started blogging, it was like the mommy blogs I was talking about, and then it was also these like super Christian blogs, and I thought, okay, like that's cool, and then like I tried to write like that, and it just wasn't working. It's just not my style, and I thought, well, I'm a Christian though. I've got to I have to do that, and everything I tried, it just fell real flat, and I feel like there's this within Christianity, and for people who are Christians who want to create, I don't want to call art because I don't create art, but like that's the general word,
Sure.
create stuff. There's this like unspoken thing that it has to be Christian related, like, in the last scene there has to be like an altar call, or like, there has to be explicit mention of Jesus. And I think maybe for some people that's their talent and they should do that. But like for me, that's not my talent. And a lot of the ways I learn or understand things is through, the world or pop culture or whatever. And I don't know what that says about me, but that's like some of that stuff resonates more deeply with me than, a church service or worship music. So I thought, let me write like that and bring that angle to it. And maybe some people will resonate with it, maybe not. And, it's not for everybody. And some people, I guess maybe it offends, but I think we're doing a disservice when we say there's only one way to hear about, Jesus, when I feel like when he was here, he didn't say there's one specific way to understand what I'm talking about. There's a variety of ways. So, even in Sunday school this past week, we talked about being in the world, not of it, that whole debate. And someone was talking about SNL and how they make fun of Christians and how it's terrible to watch that show. And I thought, I don't know how that makes me feel because I watch it, and sometimes they make fun of Christians, and I'm like, yeah, you deserve that. You should be made fun of, And other times it's like, that's not fair. And where do you stand on it? I don't know. I wish I had the answer, but I think the only thing I can do is write from my perspective and what resonates with me. And, for right now, TV, music, movies, that kind of stuff, I can draw a parallel to. So that'll be my excuse if asked about it.
Well, we'll see what Jesus says at the throne.
Right. It turns me away. Like, you were completely wrong.
Well,
that's fair.
I think that kind of segues into another question I have is there's this perception that Christians aren't funny, and it's usually on sitcoms. They're the unfunny prudes or whatever the representation is in entertainment. But like the funniest people I know literally are Christians. And I don't know if it's because it's kind of like a subculture of humor that we have a jargon or you have to be kind of in the know to get it. But like, what do you think about that? Because I think there's tons of really funny Christians.
I think you're right. I think you're right on both counts. We do come as the prude, but some of the funniest people I know are also Christians. Like, Tripp and Tyler, like they just crack me up, and I know they're Christians too. And it's like, I think we've done a bad job of allowing ourselves to be funny beyond the church realm. Like you said, like within the church, we can be really funny, but like there's 80% of the world who have no idea what we're talking about and don't find anything funny. And it's like, I read a book a long time ago called Roaring Lambs, and it was talking about the need for Christians to be in some of the world industries, not to embrace the world, but to spread out to the world what they believe, and not through like, I'm witnessing to you every day forcefully, but this is how I live my life, and I'm happy, I'm honest, and I'm a person of integrity, and make people want to be like them through that aspect, I guess. And it's like, I think if you're a Christian and you're a really funny person and you do it the right way, I think you'll win respect like that. Like, you don't have to just make Bible jokes. Like, that's not, you can do more than that. You can be genuinely funny without selling your soul for it. It's a delicate line, but I think it's one that we need to continue to pursue so that we don't marginalize ourselves in the world.
Perfect. I think that's a great answer. So, have you ever come up close to a line where you thought something might be inappropriate and you put it out there anyway, or you pulled back because you thought that it was just going a little too far?
And what I try to do is, before I put something up, I'll think, if my mom or dad or pastor was like, "What was that?" Could I reasonably explain myself? And I think I don't want to shy away from the conversation, because there's a lot of things people believe that I think are, maybe wrong or are too easily offended, and I'll have that conversation. But if I think, yeah, I couldn't explain myself and I'd be ashamed, then I think, okay, I need to pull back. And that's happened a few times. A lot of times, like when I'm writing the Bachelor recaps, they're real snarky and they're real not fun to other people. And I think, am I doing a bad thing? But I think I explained the premise up front, of like, I don't think I'm the greatest person in the world. So this isn't me shooting other people. This is just people who want to be famous. And I think, they're putting themselves on TV. So they're marketing themselves. So if we comment on them, then, that's just fair. But yeah, it's tough. I do envy people who don't have to think about that kind of stuff and can just kind of let it fly. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think sometimes your content is richer when you have to make that distinction and really think about what you're going to put on, the internet or talk about or whatever.
Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about the My Bad project, because when I first saw that, I thought it was genius, and it was like one of those, that's so good, that should have been my idea. How did that start, and kind of tell us a little bit about it?
I don't really. I remember, when you're younger and you're a Christian, you have all these experiences. You're just trying to find yourself, and you have all these experiences that you think you're being like, you're standing up for God, and you are to a certain degree, but you don't have that nuanced look at it. So you do a lot of offending of people, and it takes a while for you to realize that. And there were a handful of experiences that I just look back at and cringe when I think about them and just shake my head. And I just thought, I wish there was a way I could be like, I could go to those people who I affected and just like, my bad, I was totally wrong, I'm so sorry. But the thing is, with situations and experiences like that, most of the time you can't. It's lost. So I thought, what if we made a site or a place where you could anonymously or not anonymously upload your experience, and maybe you don't affect that person, but you can affect other people who have. Mainly, I wanted to show that Christians are self-aware. We understand that we screw up a lot, and we can laugh at ourselves about it. And hopefully it'd be a place that other people who aren't Christians can go to and get some perspective, on who Christians are. So I don't know if that's working, but that's the plan so far. I think it's done reasonably well when people interact with it.
All right. Well, last question before I let you go. What's one question that you have never been asked, but you wish somebody would ask you?
I'll say, I wish you would ask me, do you like The Bachelor, Knox? Because no one ever asked me that, and I feel like most people think I love it, and I don't. I hate it. But I feel like there's so many people who just get a whiff of what I'm writing about, and they think, wow, that guy likes The Bachelor? That's weird. It's hard when you write a book called Jesus and the Bachelorette, and it's about the Bachelorette, and, people are like, okay, you're writing about the Bachelorette? That's strange. So that's what I'd want. I want you to be like, hey, do you even like it? And I'll be like, no, I don't.
Perfect. I'm glad you got to answer that.
I'm glad too, All
right. Well, everybody, thanks for being here. Check out knoxmccoy.com. Check out tvasylum.com. Is it the mybadproject.com?
You got it.
Okay. Check out all those things. It's really great. And check out his new podcast, The Courtesy Laugh. It's not for the faint of heart, so be fair warned going in. Knox, thank you so much for being here.
Caleb, thanks, man. I appreciate it.